Yo, what's up, y'all, man? We back with another one. Hope y'all having a blessed one today. And today we got argument with children turned deadly. The shocking case of a Jack Owens true crime documentary. Let's get into this one.
Susan Lawrence was the neighbor that no one liked. She complained about noise. She yelled and cursed at the neighborhood children. She had no trespassing signs placed on the open green space outside her home where the kids liked to play. Susan called the sheriff's office on her neighbors, frequently. Then, one summer night, tensions in the neighborhood boiled over. The sheriff's office was called out again, but this time, before they could reach the house, a gunshot rang out, and a mother of 4 was dead. Hi there, I'm Kevin, and welcome to Just Thought Lounge. Today's case has made headlines internationally, and that's not surprising. What is shocking is how a neighborly dispute could grow so out of control, and how a self-defense law could potentially justify the shooting of a mother standing up for her children. Let's take a look. They sit on relatively generous plots of land with greenery to the front. Children can run around, visit with their friends, and ride their bikes. The neighborhood is full of families. The children often gather on the open green to play sports and other games, their parents sharing the duties of supervising their activities. This was the case just before dark on June 2nd, 2023. For most of the children, the school year had just ended. That Friday night marked the beginning of the summer holidays. For these kids, it was one of the most exciting times of the whole year. At just before 9 p.m., the joyful atmosphere was harshly interrupted. From down the street, neighbors heard the distinctive sound of a single gunshot ring out. From the open green, local residents watched as a mother of 4, Ajike Owens, collapsed to the ground. She was outside of a neighbor's house just across the street from her own home. Her 9-year-old son had been next to her.
911 was the
The white old lady that lives right there, the one that always calls the cops. Hey, sir, come here. Y'all boys come here. Come here. Hey, y'all boys come here.
911, what is the address of the emergency?
Hey, your mom's laying in the grass or what?
I need you to repeat the address for me to make sure I have it correct.
I don't know what's going on. We just heard a gunshot.
Okay,
We think
sir.
your mom's laying in the grass, but
Sir.
nobody wants to go over there. We ain't trying to get caught.
Sir, this is very important. I need you to repeat the address for me to make sure I have it right.
Hey, y'all boys, back up. It's the old lady that always calls the cops over here.
Sir.
Hey, Izzy, get over here.
Sir.
Yes, ma'am?
I need you to go inside your
Hey,
house
y'all boys, back up.
and lock the door for your safety.
Okay, she's in front of the lady's house. She was knocking on her door.
Okay.
Hey, it's the old lady that always calls the cops over here.
Okay.
Sir, do you see the deputy?
Right there, right here. She's on the ground. Hey, the cops just pulled up. They're right here. Thank you so much.
Okay, sir.
Panicked parents and the neighbors were not the only residents to place a call to 911. From inside Unit 3, behind the door that Ajike had approached moments before, 58-year-old Susan Lawrence placed her own panicked and distressed call to emergency services.
Oh my God, this lady just tried to break down my door. I shot the door. Oh my God.
Okay, repeat that address for me to make sure I have it correct.
They were trying to come in my house.
Okay, what's going? Take a deep breath for me. Calm down.
Oh my God.
You said someone tried to break down your door. Is that correct?
Yes, the woman was screaming and yelling and she was trying to break down my door.
Okay, it was a female.
Yes. I didn't know what to do. I grabbed my gun and I shot at the door. And I thought she was going to kill me.
That's not self-defense. That's not self-defense. A nigga, nah, even if a nigga was, we gonna keep your scenario. We ain't even gonna act like she won't yelling at the door, because she probably won't. But we gonna still say she was yelling at the door. Even if she was banging on your door yelling, you don't shoot through the goddamn door. Like, who the hell you think you is? Like, motherfucker think she Tony Montana gonna shoot through the door. Like, what the fuck?
Oh my God.
Okay, you said you shot at the door. Is that correct?
Yes, I shot at the
She swears she was Al Capone, straight shot through the door on some bullshit.
door because she wouldn't stop. I told her to get away and she wouldn't. She just begging. She said the woman who attacked me.
Okay, do you still see the subject?
I don't know where she is. I'm still in my house. I didn't open my door to her.
Did you know her?
Yes, she's come after me several times because of her children. Her children keep trespassing over here. They're bothering me and bothering me. They won't stop.
Is she a neighbor?
Yes.
Deputies from the Marion County Sheriff's Office responded to the Green, where they found Ajike, or AJ as her friends knew her, suffering from a gunshot wound to the chest.
She's inside.
Okay.
Where?
Bro, where? Ex-military. She's in that house, bro. That apartment. Right here. This first apartment. I need like a tour. We need to do CPR real quick.
Baby, wake up.
CPR.
Baby, wake up.
Let me see. Do we have any pulse?
Neighbors called for her young sons to keep their distance, and everyone kept an eye out for the woman they knew to be the shooter, their widely despised neighbor, Susan Lawrence. Officers were directed to Susan's door.
I'm in front. All right. Sheriff's office, come outside with your hands up. This is the Marion County Sheriff's Office, come outside with your hands up. Show me your hands. Show me your hands. Turn around. Turn around. Where's your gun at? You got hands? You got hands? You're going to be detained. Is there anybody else in the house?
There's somebody else in the house. Can I just get my water?
No, not right now.
All right.
You're not under arrest. You're being detained.
Okay, I understand.
Come over here.
Oh, wait, please close the door. I have two cats inside.
Hold
I
on.
don't want the cats to run out.
Deputies began piecing together the events of the evening before detectives arrived on scene.
Start giving first aid.
A single bullet hole had punctured the door to the unit. Susan had fired her gun from inside her living room directly at her 35-year-old neighbor who stood on the other side. The mother of 4 received emergency treatment on scene and then was transported to the hospital, where she died. Susan Lawrence was immediately detained, though not formally arrested or charged. In Florida, the controversial Stand Your Ground law protects the right of residents to defend themselves when within their own homes. In these cases, when threatened, there is no duty to retreat. The law allows for a deadly act of self-defense to be justified, but only when
But it won't justify. You can't just say because a nigga knocking on your door, you self-defending yourself from a nigga knocking on your door? Like, what?
there is a reasonable threat of severe bodily harm or death. In the chaos of the emergency response, it was not yet clear what had prompted Susan Lawrence to make the extreme decision to fire her handgun.
All right, that's fine. We'll figure it out, all right?
Man, they let her check herself? Nah, that was crazy.
Hi. Okay, so I'm going to record my all-time favorite song for you guys. It's called The Green Grass Grows All Around. Yeah, I'm bored. So, here we go. Down in the ground, there was a hole, the prettiest hole.
AJ was the mother of 4 children, the youngest only 3 years old and the eldest 12. She was a devoted mother, someone who would regularly go out of her way to help her friends and neighbors. She is remembered as someone who endeavored to set a positive example, expressing warmth, compassion, and positivity while building a healthy spiritual life path for her and her children.
All right? All right. God bless y'all. Be encouraged. And pray my strength in these edges.
On the evening of June 3rd, AJ crossed the street to confront Susan over the older woman's behavior and language towards her children. 2 of AJ's sons reported Susan throwing a roller skate and possibly an iPad at them. This incident was not the first of its kind. 58-year-old Susan Lawrence lived alone. She had no children. For 3 years, she had rented the apartment next to the large green. For at least 2 of those years, she had complained, repeatedly, to law enforcement, to other neighbors, and to whoever would listen about the noise and nuisance of the children playing next to her home. She had her landlord place no trespassing signs on the edge of his property line in a failed attempt to keep the children off of the grass. In early 2022, she reported that AJ hit her with her no trespassing sign. She would later claim that this was an attack on her. Witnesses described the encounter as heated, but non-violent.
Well, because the lady across the street on the phone hit me with a sign.
You already know
That she called the police on you?
Yeah.
One of her repeated claims was that AJ's children walked their dog on the green and failed to clean up after it.
Her children were walking their dog on the property. It clearly says no trespassing, and they're always walking the dog.
AJ told police that Susan would threaten her boys, telling them that if
Is too. I know how kids is too. You heard the kids in the background. Shut up. Like, hey, kid. But no, kids can, man. Kids can do some ignoring.
if they continued to trespass on the green, she would have them arrested.
It's funny because I'm the one that never comes outside and says anything to her. She comes outside to go to the car or something. She sees him. Oh, I told you I'm going to have you arrested.
In December 2022, deputies responded to yet another of Susan's calls. This time,
Hey, what you do your first time when they flip when they flip your ice cream upside down on your ass? What you do the first time you seen that shit?
she said that the children had again ignored her sign, and then, she claimed, they had stolen it. She had another encounter with AJ.
Hello. Sheriff's office. What's going on this evening?
Lots of children screaming their full heads off.
It's like the thickness test, to test the thickness of the ice cream to show you that shit creamy and rich, some shit like that.
I had my truck parked in front here, so I didn't have to listen to the screaming and yelling. As soon as I moved the truck, the kids are coming up.
I had to think about it.
I'm like, guys, stop. They know they're not supposed to be over here. They've been told many times. They've previously stolen some trespassing sign. And a little kid tells me to shut up to my face. I said, don't be disrespectful to me. And he's exchanging words back and forth. I'm like, listen, my name is Dr. Williams. Don't tell me to shut up and he's calling me names.
Yeah, but
Kids keep running back and forth over here. When the kids are out front, it's really noisy. For some reason, they love to play over here. I'm like, guys.
Probably because it's open.
I understand that. I have migraines, horrible migraines. I had a very bad car wreck.
So she telling me it's a big ass field split between the apartments and the kids can't play in the field. Who the fuck is you? That's crazy. I hate when niggas live in an apartment and they act like they got exclusive rights. Nigga, like, you live in an apartment with hella tenants. Like, go get a house and buy some land and do your own thing. Like, you wildin'.
I want to have these children. The kids are not hurting anybody. The kids, they're not damaging anything. Well, they're damaging me because the migraines are so bad. Most days I could barely stand. Come on. I mean, they literally live across the street on the other side. They don't.
I understand what you're telling me, and I get it. But you don't have sole power to say, hey, they can't be in this parking lot.
He's trespassing right now. He's trespassing.
He came over to come ask us a question.
And he's
What do you need us to do? What do you want us to do?
I mean, he needs to get, because he's screaming all the time too.
Okay.
He just needs to get off.
And I was trying to reason with her one day because we were all playing here. The kids, everything jumping. All right, let's go. And she's like, hey, you know what? One day you guys are gonna die. And I'm like, and that's when I whoa.
I'm getting too much feedback on the phone from the dog.
I'm sorry?
There's some place where he's not barking. Please, I'm getting too much feedback. I can't hear my customers. dog. Jackie.
It's a dog. We can't stop the dog from barking.
Yeah, but it's too much feedback. Can you please at least go someplace where I'm not getting so much feedback?
That's
All right, well, you have a good one. Apparently, we can't stay here and have a conversation and shit.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. She's not over there, man.
The last complaint that Susan made to police was in a 911 call placed minutes before she fired the shot that killed AJ Owens. On that call, Susan told police that yet again the children were on the property where she lived, making noise and leaving their things out. She was told that deputies were on their way to check it out. AJ then came to her door, demanding that they discuss her treatment of the children. 2 minutes after disconnecting the call to 911, Susan walked into her bedroom where she kept 2 handguns in the bottom of a wastebasket. She retrieved her Remington 380. With the gun in hand, she walked back to the living room where AJ was yelling at her on the other side of the door. She fired, and then again called 911. In the wake of her death, with her shooter not yet arrested, a community movement emerged calling for swift justice. AJ's shooter was known. Her family and their supporters saw no reason for delay. They believed that Susan Lawrence should have been arrested and charged immediately.
The field is a public field. We live in an apartment complex. Nobody owns anything. We all lease. And even the field is big, so, it's really big. Even when they play out there, they don't play on the side where her apartment is. They play on the other side to avoid all this confusion, but she comes out anyways. Anytime the kids are out there, she's coming outside. She antagonizes kids. She calls them names, slaves, racial slurs, all kinds of stuff, all of the children.
Did she say something to your children?
Yes, she says stuff to everybody's children. She's told them.
Justice for AJ! Justice for AJ! And we hope that the state attorney will consider these witness statements from those neighbors who lived in that apartment complex, who had to deal with this woman who antagonized their children on a systematic basis.
We had only one side of the story, okay? We know that she shot through the door. Of course, on her side of the story, she makes claims that her life was being threatened. And the way the laws are written in this state, and this is what people need to understand, is our hands are tied in law enforcement in these cases where we are instructed that we cannot make the arrest because we have to rule out whether the shooting was justified or unjustified. So one of the biggest things is the interview of witnesses, and some of our witnesses were the mother's kids. And obviously we were not going to interview them that night. We know the direction is going and we can't give out information, and it's difficult because here's the truth. Did we want to make the arrest that night? Absolutely we did. There's no doubt about it. It's tragic when we see somebody that just shoots through a door and shoots another human being really just because of a neighborhood squabble.
Hi.
I'm sorry, I'm just sitting here because I was freezing.
Oh, it is chilly in here, isn't it? Susan?
Yes.
I'm Detective Stiff. This is Detective Peterson.
Okay.
When the 58-year-old sat down with detectives, she repeatedly stated that she had been in fear for her life. When AJ approached her door, the young mother pounded on it aggressively. Critically, Susan claimed at that time, Ajike had threatened to kill her.
So what happened tonight that led to the conclusion that...
Well, I'm like, kids go home. So they go home, and then all of a sudden she comes out, and she is just banging on my door. I'm like, go away. I'm not dealing with you tonight. And then she started banging so hard, everything started shaking. And I'm like, you really need to leave. And she said, I'm going to kill you. And she's just banging away. I'm like, oh, she's crazy. And since she has actually harmed me, I'm like, it just keeps getting worse and worse. I'm like, I don't know what to do with her. And she banged so hard, it looked like my door was going to fly off. And I panicked. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's really going to kill me this time, And so I don't even actually remember picking up the gun. I just remember shooting.
Where do you keep the
She got a turtle suit on.
gun usually?
Oh, yeah, she played
It's
the
in my
same.
bedroom.
She
I
came
never
to
played
your
Insanity
door,
no more.
Oh, yeah.
and she was...
She was pounding on it. I was like, what the hell? My cat's going to fly.
What was she saying? Was she saying anything?
You don't talk to my sons. I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, you know? And I was like in tears. I'm like shaking, and I'm like, oh my God. And I thought she had gone away, and then she starts banging again. I'm like, oh shit.
After some time in the interview room, detectives tell Susan that her neighbor is dead.
Is that
That bitch double cap.
kind of get specific about this because it's a big deal.
I understand.
Someone's dead, so that's why I say it's important to be specific and honest about everything. So.
She said, "Bitch, you going down."
This was an absolute. It's either me or her. I mean, it's just like, I'm like, holy shit.
But did you see her with a gun or another weapon or anything like that?
But I don't know what she had on the outside. You know, when the lights were off, you know, so she came up, it was dark out. And I'm like, great, now she's pounding on my door. Now she's scaring the crap out of me. You know, now my door's moving and I didn't have it properly secured. And the next thing I thought she was going to be in my house, you know, killing me. I mean, that's honest to God what I felt. You know, it's not like, you know, I'm fed up or anything. This was a real fear.
AJ Owens was unarmed when she approached Susan Lawrence's home. Witnesses said
she was in no threat, bro. If I come to your door and I'm knocking on your door because you keep fucking with my kids, you better not kill me, nigga. I just want to talk.
that she first knocked on the sliding glass doors before moving to the front door, which was both locked and deadbolted. Not a single witness in the neighborhood overheard AJ threatening to kill Susan, though her yelling was within earshot of many witnesses. Neighbors told police that the words were either indistinguishable or that they only heard AJ calling for Susan to come outside to address her. Susan claimed AJ's banging on her door was severe enough to cause the walls to shake. She claimed that her door frame had been previously broken, making the lock less secure. Though it had been repaired, she believed that the pressure applied by AJ would be enough to break through the door. Crime scene analysts found evidence of the previous damage on the frame. Susan's landlord believed this was caused by the door being slammed shut aggressively in the past, though he could not be certain. Investigators also found that the door and locks were otherwise functioning properly.
And why don't you admit if it was the other way around and a black woman had shot through a door at a white kid, you would have arrested her that night. They were shooting at all our mamas. And we can't let this go.
After days with no arrest, the calls for action were growing louder. An organized walk through downtown Ocala, ending at the state attorney's office in the courthouse, sent a clear message: arrest Susan Lawrence. 4 days after the shooting, the 58-year-old was brought in for questioning once more.
I was like, stop, go away, move away. She wouldn't move away. And finally, I'm going to kill you. And that was the last time. And I just fired the weapon.
Okay, was there a spot you picked or something like that?
I just kind of, there was the door. I knew she was at the door. Shot.
So since the last time.
Susan reiterated that she had no intention to kill. She shot high, so assumed she would not hit her. Later in the interview, detectives' curiosity was piqued by her choice of language. Susan spoke of AJ's behavior not being prudent or reasonable, and that she was in mortal danger. This led detectives to ask, had she been researching Florida's self-defense laws? If so, when had she done so? Before or after she shot and killed AJ Owens? Susan bought her first handgun, the Remington that she used that night, 1.5 years prior. The second, she had bought only a few months before. These purchases were prompted, she said, at least in part, by a desire to protect herself in her new home.
What did you feel that was going to happen?
And she's going to come in there and beat the shit out of me until I was dead.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I felt. I mean, I don't understand why she came over my house. If there was all these issues and problems, why didn't you just call somebody? You know, that's, to me, that's what you would do if you're normal.
You're smart, okay. And the reason is...
Oh, hell no. No, absolutely. I know what you're thinking. Did I look up the laws so I could do something? No, absolutely.
This is not a situation where you set something up to because you were tired of this person. You were tired of the situation that they put you in.
No.
Okay.
Sorry. No.
Susan admitted to looking up information on another case which had involved the stand your ground law as a defense, but had only done so the previous day. She read an article or two via Facebook, she said. Investigators later found that she had made internet searches for the language of the state law.
I wanted to come to you tonight to give you an update on the homicide that occurred over the weekend. Tonight, we have arrested 58-year-old Susan Lawrence for the killing of Miss A.J. Owens. Now, many of you were struggling to understand why there was not an immediate arrest. And that's one of the things. My detectives cannot complete an investigation without getting all sides of a story. And that night, all we had was one person's story, and that was the shooter's story. But Miss Owens' story had to be told through evidence and the eyes of witnesses who were there.
On June 6, 2023, Susan was charged for
looking like a fucking Ninja Turtle up that motherfucker, girl. Stop playing crazy. You ain't crazy.
the killing of Ajike Owens.
You had everything right. Like you knew what you wanted. You wanted the kids off your line. They didn't get off your line, so you was down to kill anybody who was on that motherfucker.
To the disappointment of family and the community who supported them, the state claimed that they were unable to pursue a second-degree murder charge. The DA did not feel they had sufficient evidence to prove Susan's
She ain't caught butt-ass naked. She ain't got no drawers or nothing on.
intent to kill when she fired. Instead, she faced a lesser charge of first-degree manslaughter. The state would argue that she had not intended to kill AJ, but had certainly fired with a careless disregard for her life. Susan's trial was scheduled for the summer the following year.
The reason why I was asking for a speedy trial is I'm not getting care in jail. I'm running blood pressures of 200 over 100, and I'm just afraid I'm going to die because they're not caring for me at all.
Nigga gonna get that joint and it ain't gonna edit nothing. They're just gonna tell you it was no good parts.
The trial commenced in August 2024.
The defendant believed that Ajike was going to break down that door and kill her, but you're also going to hear the defendant say that Ajike was at the door that evening saying, "I want to speak to you because I don't like the way you're talking to my sons." At the end of this case, you're going to hear that the defendant, Susan Lawrence, knowing the police were armed, was in her apartment with the door locked and shot through that locked front door and killed Ajike Owens, who was unarmed.
And in Susan's mind, in Susan's heart, in Susan's soul, in Susan's core, she feels like AJ is going to come in, pulverize her. So she shoots the fire. And you'll hear evidence that the magazine of that gun can carry 6 bullets, but Susan only fired once. She didn't fire twice, she didn't fire 3 times, not 4 times, not 5, not 6 times. Once, in order to save her life.
The jury heard from neighborhood children and their parents about Susan's behavior prior to the shooting, that she struck one of them with a hurled roller skate, threw an iPad, and attempted to strike them with an umbrella. They responded by telling Susan that they were going to tell their mother, to which she replied, "Go ahead, I don't care." Accusations that Susan had used racial slurs towards the children in the past were excluded from the trial. It was thought that introducing these sentiments to the jury would cloud their decision-making, as well as open a line for appeal for Susan later, if convicted. Jurors did hear about other alleged incidents in which the state argued that there was no real threat. Susan's first call to 911 that night had ended only 2 minutes before she fired. She had been told that the police were on their way. The landlord, Charles Gabbard, testified that prior to the shooting, he had repaired a jamb on the front door. He said that it was structurally sound after he repaired it, despite some cosmetic damage. The door was sturdy and had a chain, a deadbolt, and a lock. Only the chain was not in use on the night in question. The trial was over within a week. Jury deliberations lasted 2.5 hours.
I'm going to have the clerk read the verdict.
Verdict as to count one. We, the jury, find as to count one of the charge. The defendant is guilty of manslaughter. Did the state prove beyond...
Outside the courthouse, Ajike's mother, Pamela Dias, thanked the jury for their service and reaching the correct decision.
Testimony, the interrogation, where she showed no remorse, continues to show no remorse, displayed the utmost care and concern for her cats. And she literally had just shot and killed a mom of 4, rendering them with their entire support system, their everyday childhood experiences, future, just gone, just like that.
AJ's children are with family and are said to be coping the best they can under the circumstances. At the age of 60, Susan Lawrence faces a sentence of up to 30 years. At the time of publication, this sentence has not yet been handed down.
Grass grows all around. And on this branch, there was a nest.
We're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up, man. Y'all go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. R.I.P. to this young queen. Hope her family seek justice and hope they recover off this situation, man. Y'all have a blessed one. See y'all on the next video.